Okay, so guys, I found a moment to give part two. The last checkpoint was the notion of a higher being living through us all and what that would be like. In most ancient traditions, the world was a transcendental place. That means it was not just mysterious to them in a horizontal, external way, it was also mysterious to them, for example, in an internal, vertical way. And so I was trying to establish this notion that the context of all reality is unknown. We are unknown beings. What we are is of unknown force that is identifying, that is in some sense overlaying the subject on the object. The mystery of how far human intelligence can be acknowledged here is a different scale. Or how should I say it? There's different intensities. That means if there was a metric, I said this in one of my talks, I called it higher intelligent, I said intelligent interaction levels. That means what I find to be more valuable than money and gold is in some sense even beyond, let's say, the value of information and knowledge. It is the presence of the level of intelligence in an interaction that a being has. Okay, that means it's like what's something that's priceless. It's like souls interacting with one another, right? But in some sense, what's even more fascinating that everybody is starting off from their own, let's say, subjective inner realm, right? From their own world. And at some point, you got to realize the way you've been giving meaning to things is not the only way things can have meaning. I'm telling you, it was as if like two words have had a huge impact on my life. One is the word advanced, and the other is the word the unknown. And the unknown was the first one I noticed. So the unknown is like being like when they say we're on the shoulder of giants, it's something similar, right? We're in the presence of a vastness of a display of force. That means whether I identify, say, okay, only individuals are intelligent, or intelligence starts from just an individual position. Yeah, guys, somebody says, yeah, because that's why it has the P2 at the beginning. It's not like I'm at parking lot 2, level 2. It's part 2 of the lecture. Okay. Let me say it this way. If you have to enter a moment and then get emotional and personalize it and then attack someone as like somebody in the chat section is being rude, you don't understand. You're showing to every soul where your mind is at, not me. Every person's inner realm is different. That means what you see, that like that's it's like a perfect example of like, what I'm trying to say here. You know? People think they know the other, and but you only know yourself. Any value you see me, just like a painting, right? If you go look at a painting, if it means something to you, if you dislike it or like it, that is your own inner realm. Do you know? So if you want to be rude to me from your own inner realms, like It's like, all right, man, like go listen to something else. Maybe it's too soon to hear stuff like this. Go loop like those living the common life. No issue. Attitude, somebody, the same person who was rude in the chat section is like, not to fight, but what is wrong with the world now? Let me tell you what's wrong. Everybody personalizes things. That means when somebody's rude to me, I'm like, yo man, this is as creepy as seeing like a overgrown child. Like you think your emotions are so superior to frame realities based on them? Like what are you, 12? Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you, if you really want to engage the content, let me just say I should probably give a lecture on this. Okay, let's take some notes from this philosophical dude named Hegel. Okay? You have the thesis. Someone comes and says something, then you have the antithesis. You don't when you make it personal, when you say something that's like as if you're something's like, it affected you, you've personalized an interaction, then you're just in your own room. That's what it is. It's like when somebody's rude, I'm like, man, like what sort of cage is that entity living in? Sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. I mean, what I mean by that is that there's in like, let's say more like Sufi mystical thought. I'm not a Sufi, but in Sufi mystical thought, there was this view that like language. The poet Hafez said something like, "The words you speak become the house you live in." Right? Do you know what I mean? That means, and it shows again like that's what you received out of everything I said. Do you know what I mean? No, man. It's if you can't respect the moment, and you personalize reality, then it's like, what conversation can there be? It's like in the middle of a lecture, I can't, take off a box from somebody's head, bro. But this is all ego. Let's go back to where the main game is. The main game is not like I know this better or you know that better. Okay, that's child's play. There's the thesis, antithesis. It's healthy for there. It's expected for there to be an antithesis, but an antithesis to the concepts. Not just like from your own inner realm emotionally, you assume something and think that's like the truth. Anyways, see, the moment shouldn't be taken personally because there's so much beyond just the human capable range of comprehension, right? It's like, people may make fun of like, yo, man, the caveman discovered fire through sticks and stones, like they had it rough, and I'll be like, yo, are we that different? Our sticks and stones has become on a civilizational scale and intelligence now. You see, the notion, let me go back to the checkpoint. The checkpoint was the life that moves through us all. I am trying to say, as we're like from one angle, as we're all living like our individual lives in our own subjective meaning simulations and whatnot. In the same way, it's like just like the wallpaper that I've chosen, the thumbnail wallpaper I've chosen for the video. The essence, it's like forces are interacting with one another. Imagine like there's an old school couple like in like a palace dancing waltz or something in Europe, right? Now what do you see when you see that? What you're seeing is in some sense the present. How do I explain it to you? You're seeing the whole point of it goes to the concept of synergy in regards to how all the different elements in the system kind of float together. What's up, guys? If you have questions, if you want to share, an antithesis, or if you agree with my thesis, like, which is my perspective, you know, Feel free to share. Ultimately, the whole point of it was to say that Hegel says reach a synthesis. It's not that I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, or you're right, I'm wrong. It's about realizing, okay, what does the human consciousness have access to, and how can we use this to discover relationships beyond the reality. And we realize the moment there's beyond reality, the starting point of the relationship is even more unknown than we thought. So it's kind of like we're unknown forces moving these unknown beings in an unknown world that's also happening through an unknown force. And we're like, okay, are we like this? Are we the node, or are we the field? Are we just like some sort of manifest antenna receiving this field, that what which is our actual non-local essence? Like, what's going on? There's this guy named, okay, I shouldn't say the name, but somebody's like, hello, in the chat section. It's like, anyone there, bro? Like, trying to give a lecture over here, man. Oh my god. Where I'm going with this is just to say that it was a surreal feeling for me. I don't know how you guys find it, of realizing, okay, it's not just humans living on Earth, humans living for the greatness of humanity. That is the man-made responsibility for the man-made sectors of civilization. But the man-made sectors of civilization are also in a collaboration with the environment. You see, as conditional entities, you're defined by your environment. And for example, when generals fought back in the day, what was the whole point? What was the value of the positioning? Is there really no sound? What? No, no, there has to be sound. There has to be sound. You guys are scaring me in the chat section. Okay, whatever, guys. I'm in the flow. I'll just go with the lecture. Hopefully, it's being recorded. If not, it was interesting to share. Anyways, to continue, I'm saying that we're like accessing reality from a lower order process dimension, okay, in the higher order process dimensions. Anyways, what is the nature of reality? It is the presence of unknown forces that have managed to organize themselves and just identify with that organized layer. Yo, man, I can't type, but there should be audio. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Where I'm going with this is to say it's not just human beings living on Earth, it's an unknown field of forces, which to me, what is behind the scenes of nature's laws and forms, is actually source code commands. I perceive reality as an existential simulation. We are users, there's mods, they are also created beings, but we can't, let's say, see them. And then there's the system admin, which is beyond the whole simulation and is the administrator, the actual administrator of reality. In other words, we're not living our own life. Our own life is happening within the awareness of an unconditional intelligence, which is another way of saying the dude saying, "Yo, it's a simulation." Also realize the simulation is existing, has to, prior to the simulation, say a priori, like to the simulation. What a sentence! A priori to the simulation. That could be become a movement in France. I don't know. I'm saying before the simulation can exist, the simulation is the effect. So there must be an original cause. In other words, we're all right now within, listen to how I'm saying this, within the original presence. We're within the original presence. We're within the original excuse me. We're within the original moment. That means the original world was there before the room was there. We're finding ourselves in a conditional world, so therefore in a room, in a world room. And because we're not here forever, therefore it's simulated. Our bodies are simulated for some time. Our communication based on now internet, the cyberspace is, given us a sort of conceptual immortalization, like, I don't know how to say it, like, my talks are going to outlive me, right? But the whole point of it is, like, those talks are still me. They're the results of how that pattern integrated with the other patterns, do you know? So when I think about my life, I think of it this way. Okay, I got a life that, let's say, is 100 years. And then, but my mind and my vision of when I communicated on Earth, how far was I seeing? Was I communicating from the furthest reaches of my awareness and with the honor to be honest with that? Do you know? Or was that not the case? For me, I'm saying that there's a higher being living through, there's a higher order process occurring through all these lower order processes that are just basing reality on their own lower order process. And hopefully it's been recorded up to this point. I'll end the talk here. Thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent and the most merciful, in honor of the original unconditional moment that all conditional moments have arisen from and will return to, in gratitude to the system administrator of reality that has allowed us to notice beyond reality, to become souls that are responsible for not just what they are now, but for their true potential as a species. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys. Hopefully this was audible.